Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tower Casuals Live here on Bungie Day. It is episode 100. I am one of your hosts,
Woo!
Corey Deerick, and alongside me, the Jotun Toten, the Vault Dwelling, Mayor of the Deepstone Crypt, the Disciple, Mithrax's love child, Crow's Nightmare, the Space Daddy himself, Josh Finney.
Yeah!
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Corey.
Hey, Josh. We're live.
Hey, Corey. We're live.
Like, really live. Not just like,
We are.
you know, chilling in a Skype call. You know. And we have people with us, Josh.
We do.
There's dozens of us.
Dozens as in 4. Yes.
A baker's dozen!
Oh, God. We have the mod master, the build expert himself, A1 Johnny. I was trying to find a word that started with B. Build bro.
Build bro.
That just sounds stupid.
Banshee's Apprentice.
Yeah.
Banshee's Apprentice. I think after 6 years, I'm higher up on the ladder than Apprentice.
Yeah, he's still looking at Telesto like it's a ham sandwich, okay? I mean,
Telesto is anything you want it to be.
To be fair, I could go for a ham sandwich right about now.
how about a barbecue, sweet barbecue sandwich from Earl Sandwich there, Josh?
You don't make it anymore.
I know.
Sorry, Josh. Best I can do is a room temperature IPA.
Oof. Oof. I think everybody loses out there.
That sounds terrible on multiple levels. Last but not least, joining us is our warlock. As he hides in Rasputin's rectum. Nerd generalist. Hi, nerd.
Good day to all the warlocks out there, and for all you hoppy, jumpy, Jotun crutchin hunters. I hope you all stepped in glue on the way to watch this show today.
Hey, to be
That
fair,
my Celestial Nighthawk will inevitably find your ass.
It always does.
I already made the thumbnail for this episode, and I included a hunter, 2 titans, and a warlock in the thumbnail. Okay, there's a warlock in there.
Double
I made
titans.
sure we were all represented, even though it wasn't really us.
I mean, it makes sense. You got to have 2 titans to create 1 warlock. So, got to make up.
Corey, when are we just going to go Titan on Titan for a show? You know what I mean?
That
soon.
sounds like after hours action right there.
Yeah, it is. We're gonna
Put that parental advisory on that thumbnail.
handle our hammers. You know, what I mean?
Just
I can't tell if we need
crashing.
to... I can't
This is what it looks
tell
like.
if...
That sound effect is not going to come in.
I can't
great
tell
on the
if we
audio.
need like the sensual music that you always hear, or if we need like fucking yakety sax play.
Oh, crayons.
Oh.
We're going to have a flight of crayons. We're going to talk about our favorite ways to punch people.
This motherfucker just said a flight of crayons.
Oh, God. What is happening?
Are they
Discuss our
pre-sharpened or
favorite
not?
butt towels, and we're cooking up something special.
I think you need Colonel Panda to come join you for a real threesome.
Oh.
I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm seeing some warlock love out there in the chat. I appreciate it.
It's
This is
just
great.
Andre.
Ah.
I'm just kidding. We love Andre.
That's okay. That's okay.
Andre. Okay, but before we get started though, I do want to say, thank you if you wrote in this week. We got 9 different emails from you guys. And so everybody who sent us something is getting something. If you sent an email this week, plus Andre, because he mistakenly thought we wouldn't ship to Canada, even though I swear to God, I said we would ship to North America.
You did. I checked the tape. I checked the tape, Josh. I checked the tape.
I don't care, Andre. Put him to task.
Anyways, 9 of you guys wrote in. There will be 9 prizes. I will come up with a final prize. The physical prizes, of course, are the Grimoire Anthology that I have ordered, which, if I remember correctly, I'm way too tipsy to log into my Amazon right now, is Volume 4. So it's the one that came out last year. Corey and I will sign that and send that to whoever wins. Corey, you had something physical to add to the giveaway tonight, too.
I do. I have this little Cade figurine that was a GameStop pre-order exclusive for Forsaken.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
A little chunk of history there.
I had a friend who worked there for a while, and he gave me an extra one. So I opened one and kept one sealed, thinking it might be some hot commodity someday. But you know what? I'm going to give it away.
It is a hot commodity now.
He's going to give it away. I have 6 emblems to give away as well. And then I realized, you know what? I have 8 prizes. 9 people wrote in, and I want to make sure that everybody I want to make sure everyone who actually wrote in for us goes home with something. So I'm going to contribute the final thing, which is going to be $10 worth of silver on a platform of the winner's choosing.
Ooh.
I'm going to go through and do the emails after, literally coming in by the seat of my pants tonight. Go through. I'm going to tally everything. We're going to let you guys know what you won before we go and announce it. Just so like that way, hey, we're replying to your emails. You guys know ahead of time before we announce it. On next week's episode and on our socials. And so that the 2 of you who get the physical rewards, we can get your shipping information, and I can get the platform information for whoever the silver is going to. Yeah. But we have to start with our first email tonight.
First email, everybody.
The first email, because this is my favorite one that I got. It made me laugh really hard when I saw it today. Trevor writes in.
Trevor?
First and foremost,
not Trevor.
We are doing Trevor.
I like Trevor.
No,
I like from 0 Hour. I'm terrified.
Yeah. That was the joke.
First and foremost, love the podcast. You guys are great. A few weeks ago, you guys made a suggestion, and I happen to have some free time today. In honor of the 100th episode, I've listened back to every episode and made up a solid list of all of Josh's nicknames.
Poor Trevor. Poor Trevor.
Awesome.
What did you do to this
The
poor man?
Jotun Toten, the Jotun Toastin, Vault Dwelling, Ironing Board, the Epilogue, the Grandmaster himself, the Mayor of the Deepstone Crypt, the Disciple, the Curse, the Lightsaber Wielding, the Sandwich Munching, the Flawless, the only man I want to play Mario in my Mario movie. It's a me, Mario! My favorite co-host on the Citadel, the Duality Dungeon Diving, the Nightmare Containing, the Birthday Boy, the Haunted, the Valus Micus, the Slayer of Worlds, the Nightmare himself, the Vow of the Disciple Slaying, the Man, the Myth, the Legend, the God Slaying, Glass Shattering, Podcasting Disciple, the Throne World Conqueror, the Lore Archivist, the Spartan Slaying, the Spartan Crushing, the Man with No More Blues. That's a fucking lie.
It's been a week.
The Hive himself, the Kilimanjaro, the Flawless Haunted Lost Sector Dominator, the Killtacular, the Flawless T-Rex, the Super Hunter, the Atheon Shattering Hero of Time, the Guardian of the Galaxy, the Hoodie Pre-Ordering, the Blight Questioning, and the Vault Conquering.
Corey, write it down. That's a shirt. That's a shirt.
What?
Small
one?
font.
All of them.
All of them? Just
Top to
listed?
bottom. Top to bottom.
It's
The
the
back
first
is
shirt
just
ever
a picture
released
of
with
Josh.
DLC.
So unless you're from Cleveland, you probably don't know about this, but there's a guy that goes to all the Browns games, and since 1999, he has a jersey with a list of every single Browns quarterback who has started since 1999, and it's like down to his knees because there's been like 30 something.
He makes it on Reddit once a season.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna make it again this year because we're gonna have at least 2, maybe 3.
I have to add in Trevor's final comment here. I must say, listening to these every week has been a week for Josh. Searching for a lore name until Lore Archivist came along was funny. Trevor, thank you so much for writing in, to giving us the perfect opening to episode 100 tonight, with all of Corey's absurd nicknames for me. I had remembered a lot of these, but I had completely forgotten some of these. By the time I got the Hoodie pre-ordering, there were real tears in my eyes.
I just love that most of them are like pre-ordering, like he's slinging from the hip every single time.
Always am. Never prepared. Never. I gotta be
Oh,
honest.
man.
I'm never prepared when we start this show.
Never prepared.
That's a shirt.
I want to launch right into another email here though, and this is from Dave. Dave, if you guys remember, wrote in a few weeks ago. We gave Dave his shout out to his buddy World Jukebox, but I told y'all we were going to save the rest of Dave's email for this because we want tonight to be a celebration of us getting to episode 100, of the people who listen to the show, of our favorite Bungie and Destiny memories. And I think this is as good of a place as any to start with these. We're going to sprinkle them in throughout the night. So Dave writes in, my buddy and I listen weekly, and he goes by World Jukebox. Been one of my best friends for close to 15 years now. We've been playing Destiny together since I jumped in at the Dark Below, and he's been playing since the beta. Destiny is one of those games that really kept us in touch throughout the years between us getting married, having kids, and life in general. We forever hunted for a steady third for our fire team, but at the end of the day, it's always been us. Two-manned all the dungeons but Prophecy, and we two-man anything we can. As a hunter who dies all the damn time, I couldn't have done anything without my warlock.
See?
It's true.
Exactly.
Hunters think you're warlocks. Thank your Will of Radiance users.
Wait, that's not all we're good at. It's not all we're good at.
That's
all
all
you're
we
good
need.
at.
That's all we need. Except now that Titans have that well when they pop their shield, their barrier now.
Yeah. My man acting like we ain't been dropping bubbles for y'all for 7 years now.
John,
That's a
he very
touching
clearly
moment.
said they're two-manning it. They don't have a Titan. They chose
that's where
the
they went
superior
wrong.
intellect. They chose the superior intellect classes.
I can emote through a two-man dungeon. Sit there in my sunspot. Next question.
Oh, Jesus. Well, on that note, because like I said, we have a lot of listener mail to get to tonight, and that's going to be the bulk of the show. But I had some questions for you guys that I kind of cooked up, and I got some lore pieces I wanna do in a special lore corner later on. Let's just go ahead and ask it right now. What is y'all's favorite memory? Let's try and keep it brief because I feel like we've done this before. But rapid fire favorite memory of the Destiny series. Corey, why don't you go ahead and get us started as the co-host?
I still think my favorite memory of Destiny was probably running through the Taken King the first time on the master difficulty or whatever they were calling it at the time. And we went through and we got the master difficulty down to a science. We were running it for like in 45 minutes we were running through that raid. And like that whole summer, or I guess winter, because it came out in September. Like,
yeah,
we were running raids 3 times a week, like every single raid 3 times a week, just like it was nothing. And it was probably the best time I had playing Destiny in terms of like, okay, we have a raid team, we have a raid group every Wednesday night. We have a standing time where we're raiding. We have a standing time where we're playing. And the moment you take Oryx out and you see him float away is just one of the best things I've ever experienced in Destiny. So and that was at a time when I was playing like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours,
That was before children.
That's also true. Also, yeah, and mostly before marriage as well. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably my favorite moment. Watching
John's
Oryx
truck
float away.
agrees.
Listen, my
John,
window is
the
facing a
truck is
road. I
focused.
can't do anything about it.
The truck has spoken. John, hit me with your favorite Destiny memory.
Okay. God, there are so many, so I just decided to just pick one and stick with it. And I have to go with the me and my team finally getting Conqueror done the first time.
Yeah.
Beat the Glassway on Grandmaster. Everyone that season, they were tough, but they were, normal. But Glassway on Grandmaster difficulty, especially back then, was insanely hard. It took us 3-4 weeks of attempting it every night. We would hop on, we'd give it 1 or 2 runs, which takes like 2.5-3 hours. And me and my friends Max and Phil, when we finally knocked that big Vex asshole back through the portal just felt so good. It just, I mean, we were literally
shout out
screaming.
to the Dangerous Knights crew, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully I'll be joining those Conqueror ranks soon. Three strikes away. 3 strikes and an arc run away from getting my Conqueror title. Nerd, hit us with your favorite memory.
Let's see. Mine would probably be the period of time that we were all trying to get our raid rings together a couple of years ago. Oh, is that how many? Is it like, it's been like what, 2 or 3 years now, right?
It's been 2 years.
When we met.
That was when we all met. That was in the very early days.
So I mean, for little context for people who aren't cued into kind of like all of our relationships together, but we all sort of met separately through a lot of different avenues. And I was in a similar situation than the emailer that just came in, that we just read off. It was me and just my buddy. We pretty much played Destiny by ourselves exclusively. And we, met John and we met Josh and all started raiding together. And we decided we were going to all commit and just get all of our raids done over the course of like a week and a half and get our raid rings. There was a thing they were doing for before they sunset all of the old raids. And that was awesome because we were raiding pretty much like almost every other night, meeting all sorts of new people. We even had other people kind of cycle in and out of our groups to get certain stuff done. And it was it was fun. It was like, it was really cool to have like 2 or 3 communities really all banding together to like go through all these different raids. It was really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, my favorite memory in Destiny, it comes down to between 2 things. One, I talk about it all the time, but the first time we all did the sleeper stimulant puzzle back during the Taken King, not just being out of it and, that spawned everything that we do now, but that was the first time that something like that had really taken over a game that I can remember, where we were trying to do like all sorts of stuff outside of the game to solve puzzles to come back in and do it in game. Previously, we'd seen like ARG things from Bungie, like I Love Bees is one of the most famous, the Believe campaign for Halo 3, but never anything that actually tied to something in the game. And that was just one of the coolest, most surreal things I can remember the community coming together for. I mean, we were making random groups on Facebook to find other players that wanted to solve it with us, because this was really before the Reddit community had taken off. Raid secrets wasn't really a thing at this point. Raid secrets wouldn't even really become a thing until deep into Destiny 2, I would argue, until around Last Wish. I think if I had to pick a second one, though, one that's definitely more recent would be the summer that John and I started playing together, right at the beginning of Season of Opulence. I was in a very similar situation to Dave and Juke. My buddy Matt and I had been 2-manning things. Occasionally we had a third if my girlfriend Chelsea jumped in with us, but she was pretty deep into nursing school by that point, so she didn't really have an opportunity to play. In fact, that's really the last time she played was that season that we met John. She became a full-time nurse after that, and then there was a little thing called COVID. So she's fallen so far behind that she's like, I'm never going to pick it back up again. I'm just going to watch you guys play it. And half the time when we're attempting day one, she's sitting in that room watching it, just, still amazed by everything. But
I feel sorry for her sitting in the room with us on day ones.
Just hearing us cuss and die every 30 seconds for
pretty much. But I've said this a lot, but Bungie games for me are really it's great storytelling. It's the best gunplay in the industry, but it's about the communities that they spawn. And that's going to be a recurring theme that we talk about in these emails that we got, is it just keeps coming back. That keeps coming back to friendships and relationships that are created by and defined almost by this game. Like, John was a random guy on Reddit that I replied to.
He still is.
And now some say he still is to this day. He's looking to get back into Destiny. None of his buddies played, and just was like, hey, man, come play with me and my friend. We play all the time. We don't really have a third. And now, I mean, I would consider John to be one of my closest friends. I'm a part of his friend group now. I'm in for Friday night movies. But I mean, it goes beyond just playing a game. Like, it's a relationship where I feel like I have somebody that I can talk to about serious stuff and not just, hey, man, what do you think about this role? Like, you want to go raid this weekend? Like, real shit started happening about 9 months after we became friends. And I think that was really where we bonded. You know, I quit my job due to a lot of things and moved right before COVID. And that just, you know, all of us stuck at home, you, me, and Phil, man, that was really like when I feel like we bonded.
Yeah, that's what Destiny is a lot of the times. It's a social lobby where we're mindlessly killing aliens while venting about our day, talking about shit, joking around with each other, and just bonding. It's my social time. Yeah.
I mean, I always say, like, this is my social game, but there's a reason why we call our friends that come in here on the show with Corey and I the LFG. And that's why, like, it started out pretty much as, oh, hey, we were fan of these guys. Like, Nerd was on Mixer when we met him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know? You were on Mixer.
That's how I met him.
I'm going to pour one out for that
Joe
platform.
was still doing stuff, you know, and meeting you guys and all of us getting to hang out together. And now it's like, man, we have a defined day one team.
I mean,
let's go.
Josh, I mean, we've talked about it before, but we became friends hunting for Sleeper Simulant.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, D1. through a mutual friend. But yeah.
Oh, when I met Josh, I hadn't even cleared a raid yet in Destiny.
That's true. I was there when John got his first ever clear and he got fucking Anarchy out of it.
Of course he did.
That was
You
in the running
son of a bitch.
for my favorite Destiny moment. But but
John was the only person who had it for like 2 years.
That sounds like when I did Skolas with my friend and I pulled Gallarhorn out of the chest. And my friend had been playing for like 2,000 hours and hadn't gotten it yet.
My Gallarhorn moment almost made my favorite moment. Because I went back, I had to look at the stats. I got my Gallarhorn email right before we went live. And I got it in the very early days. Destiny 1 had not been out for a full month yet, and I got mine as a drop. I still remember getting it. It was my first ever Nightfall completion when I cleared the Archon Priest. And
that's why your RNG is terrible to this day.
Yeah.
One of the guys who was playing with my buddy Matt and I was like, he was one of those, why would you ever waste an exotic on a heavy? And he stopped playing before we found out why you wanted Gallarhorn. But it got Matt and I permanent invite raid we wanted to do for about 1.5 years there. It was pretty great. We had a standing raid time at reset to go run Crota's End and Vault of Glass. So let's keep the ball rolling. We have a lot of longer memories to get to that I definitely want to make sure that we read. This one's definitely along the relationship lines and really I think hits home for all of us. This one comes in from Ronnie. Good evening, gentlemen. Wanted to share my Destiny 2 story. Even though it's been brief, since the end of January 2022, it's been amazing and reviving in more ways than one. Let me start at the beginning and zip to the current day. A group of my friends and I always met at C2E2 because that was the kind of central location for all of us to meet up one time a year, since we're all spread out across the United States. In fact, our last con experience to date is the last C2E2 just 2 weeks before the pandemic hit and everything went into lockdown. That being said, most of us were gamers, so during that time, we tried to co-op as many games together as possible to help each other out with the mental anguish of what was going on and being locked down. We played through The Division, Outriders, Wildlands, Breakpoint, etc. I myself had always wanted to try Destiny when it first came out, but I didn't have any gaming friends. If I wasn't playing co-op with my friends, I was playing Warzone. I loved the idea of co-op with friends, but couldn't play the game solo when they weren't on in fear of being so far ahead in story missions or personal power level. So I asked him, what about Destiny 2? I've heard great things. The season pass had story missions and quests. It was co-op as well, which meant when they weren't on, I could solo it. When they were on, we could do campaign together, and whoever wanted to grind solo could, but didn't have to. We all agreed to give it a go because all of us had the same feeling. It seemed so vast, but so cool we could learn together and still have our game and co-op time. I instantly fell in love with it. It checked all the gaming boxes for me. The lore, the gunplay, the solo grinding, the co-op grinding, raids, dungeons, PvP, PvEVP, all of it. So I bought every bundle expansion I could, as well as instantly pre-ordered Witch Queen Ultimate Collection. All of this not knowing if my other 3 friends would even enjoy it at all. We started playing and 2 of my friends loved it back with me. So since then, lots of laughter, lots of misadventures, and tons of grinding. But most importantly, it helped us mentally during the pandemic and provided us with the escapism we needed. That's my story, and I'm very thankful for this game. I think we all echo this.
Yeah.
Every one of us, I think, does. Like we just kind of went into detail about that, right? It's been a rough couple years. Corey and I say it almost every week. It's been a fucking rough run of it for the entire run of this show.
It's been a week for about
episodes.
100 weeks.
We've had about 100 weeks. That's right. I know you're keeping track, Trevor. It's been a week.
I mean, look, when you join the game and you meet Shah Han, I mean, really, you have no other choice but to go and
you
buy
mean Dollar General Astacross?
buy all of the expansions and just like you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Shahan looks like a kid at Halloween who's trying to dress up like his favorite guardian, but he only has like the money to buy like one thing, which is obviously the exotic he's wearing with like a red turtleneck underneath.
Have you guys ever seen BoJack Horseman?
a little bit.
So there's this kid in there who stands on top of another kid's shoulders and always wears a trench coat and a hat, and he's impersonating an adult, and one of the adults is so stupid that she thinks he's actually an adult. His last name is like Big Man or something, or Tall Adult or something like that. That's how I feel Shah Han is. He's two kids standing on top of each other.
Wow.
But yeah, I really feel that during the pandemic, I mean, luckily for Bungie's employees, at least, they went work from home fast.
They had to. They were in Seattle where the first real breakout was.
Yep. But the regular cadence of Destiny was kind of one of the few senses of normalcy that I've had in my life for the last 2 years. Yep. Right? That was we all went through that pandemic, which is still going on. Hooray.
I mean, going back to the social parts of it, and it's some place where that all of your friends are going to be every week at roughly the same day, right? Like Tuesday, like I won't have talked to Josh or John or Joe sometimes or anybody else that I play with and like scheduled a time or anything to play. But like Tuesday comes around, reset happens, I'll scroll through my list as I'm finishing up work for the day and like, oh, somebody's on, let's do something. It's that central, right. It's a central point for people, right? Like and it happens every week. There's something there every week to jump into. So
for sure. Kind of segueing out of that, I want to get to one. We're going to get through one more email before we have some fun speculation questions to get through that I've kind of cooked up. This is another memory. It comes in from RushJet. He's been writing in a lot lately. I had to get some Kleenexes ready for this one when I read the email initially. Just fair warning. He writes in and says, I played Destiny 2 when it first came to PC. Played through the story and had an okay time, but I saw it as nothing more than a decent time waster with friends. What does that sound like to all of us, right? Took a break from it until Forsaken came out and had the same experience. It wasn't until Season of the Splicer that everything changed. Around that time, I was starting to get to know my now girlfriend. We were looking for a fun game to grind on while we hung out during the week. When she suggested Destiny, I was extremely apprehensive, but she wore me down and I caved in. We jumped into Season of the Splicer, and my experience felt the exact same. I voiced my concern about not seeing the story or understanding what's going on. That's when she showed me how Bungie likes to tell their stories. Lore tabs, armor tabs, weapon tabs. They were the key to finding out what interested me most in this world. She showed me that armor can look way cooler, and I can even theme it how I like now. For lack of better words, she guided me through the fog of Destiny to show me the amazing game that was laying underneath. I was in love, both with the game and with the woman who showed it to me. Flash forward a few months, my girlfriend suffered a massive stroke. After months of rebuilding herself through physical and speech therapy, she's finally able to return home and sit at her computer. Unfortunately, the stroke has left her right arm mostly immobile. This makes her ability to keep up with games like Destiny and other first-person shooters nearly impossible. Having one of the things that brought us so close together taken away in an instant was heartbreaking to us. But always the trooper, my girlfriend faces her challenges with a smile. While she may not be able to play alongside, we've made an effort to make sure that she watches along for most of my adventures. We go through the story together, dungeons. She tags along for raid night until she gets too tired, because a healing brain gets tired easier. She even helps me with build crafting and is my #1 fan when Iron Banner rolls around. It's hard to put into words how the transition has been hard on both of us, but with our positive outlook and the can't stop me attitude, I get to have the woman I love most in life right now get to be my ghost along for the ride.
Wow. That was just eloquent. Like really, really well written. And
that hit me like a fucking Mack truck.
Yeah. That was really well written and just an awesome story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great story. I do maybe want to offer some sort of idea for this amazing sounding couple. The Xbox adaptive controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, that might be something that she can use to maybe get back into the game.
Because go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, but no, that's a heartbreaking but heartwarming story right at the same time. That's
There's also the controller sharing functionality too, right? I think you can like split it up between two controllers. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not trying to give ideas, but that's a great story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I read this for the first time a couple days ago when I was starting to check our emails and put the show together, and I had to stop for a bit after that. My girlfriend and I went through definitely not the same thing, but when D1 came out, I was bedridden. I had lost the use of my legs up until after Taken King came out, actually. I was rehabbing my legs, having multiple surgeries and things like that. While she was going through some insanely personal stuff, nearly broke up during that time. But Destiny and, to an extent, Halo, we really got close and started dating while we were playing Halo 4. Really helped strengthen that relationship with us. Like, that's why Destiny will always mean a lot to her and I. Even if she doesn't play anymore, you know, she tags along for the adventures too if she has the night off and gets to enjoy it as well. Always is asking what's going on in the story, what's going on in the lore. I got to tell her everything. I still have to buy her stuff from the store. It's
is it for her, Josh?
There's a Hive Worm plushie now.
Is it right?
She did see the worm plushie, and she didn't say she wants it, but she didn't say she didn't. So I may be having to buy a Hive Worm plushie.
I think Josh wants the Hive Worm plushie, and
that thing would terrify me if I saw it in the middle of the night. You kidding me?
Now you just need a parasite to shoot the Hive Worm plushie out of.
Oh God, dude! Please make that the next Nerf gun.
Can you load that in the Nerf galley? I want to know.
You have to.
I will experiment in Q1 2023 when my $200 purchase arrives.
And that's not including shipping.
I need somebody to. I need your girlfriend to video you, Josh, so we can throw it up on the YouTube channel.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna take all sorts of stupid, ridiculous pictures with that thing when I get it.
It's
gonna 4 feet long.
In that unboxing, there's going to be so much slobber and just grunting and Josh just like in pure ecstasy. You're going to get banned from YouTube if you put that up.
He's going to have tissues for another reason.
I want that so bad.
You're not wrong.
I want that Galahorn so bad, and I really want to get my girlfriend's kids some normal Nerf guns and then whip out that fucker on them, and then, you know.
So,
now you're all in big trouble.
I know we're deviating, but I looked at Chelsea today when she got to go to work, and I was like, babe, I spent money today, and she goes, okay, what'd you buy? I was like, well, it's Bungie Day. And she was like, oh, okay, so what? You bought like a hoodie or something? Do you really need another hoodie? I was like, I didn't buy a hoodie. She's like, did they put up the new collector's edition? No, I didn't buy a collector's edition. I spent $230 though. She was like,
so,
what on earth did you buy? And so I told her about the Galahorn, and she was like, oh, okay. I was like, wait, you're not upset? She goes, no, I would have been mad if you didn't order it. Yes!
So every time Josh goes to Chelsea and says, I spent some money today, she goes on the podcast that she's on and starts out and says, it's been a week.
She probably does. No, she goes to work and fucking tells all her friends she works with. She's like, so my boyfriend, who does all of the cooking and cleaning for us and does all the stuff around the house, felt guilty about spending money again today.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm sitting here being like, I'm sorry that I spent $10 on silver. And she's like, have you looked at how many microtransactions I've made in Sea of Thieves over the last year and a half? I looked and I no longer feel guilty about my in-game microtransactions.
She is keeping Sea of Thieves alive, and I love her for it.
She's a whale.
She is a whale in the truest sense in that game, and I love her.
Hey, when you start being an RNA during COVID, you deserve it. You know, just...
So let's go through some of these questions that I have. We're gonna get to some questions. We'll get back to memories here in just a moment. What is your favorite story in the lore in the series? John, let's go to you first. I feel like you're really more in tune with it.
There are, again, just like asking me what my favorite moment in Destiny is, I could like start with a list of 30, but if I just had to pick one, I feel like Immolation Part 2. And I don't know if that's cheating because it's not in-game lore. It was something released on the Bungie blog, but Osiris making his final stand and losing Sagira, one of my favorite story moments in the lore, both from a fanboy perspective of seeing a warlock go ham, wielding like 4 supers in the span of 10 seconds, but also just the heartbreak of seeing Osiris lose in spite of all that power, seeing him say goodbye to Sagira, and now with the context that was setting up more than a year of Destiny's story, leading into Witch Queen. We had lightless Osiris in the tower for a year before we realized who he was. I mean, some of us who were paying attention to the lore started getting suspicious like 6-8 months later, but that is probably one of my favorite lore moments. Just everything with him, everything was saying, everything it spawned. Yeah.
Mm. I remember the outrage that we all had collectively that wasn't in game.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
I don't even care if they do it retroactively.
It's called they couldn't get Marina Baccarin back.
It doesn't
They
matter.
couldn't afford her
Only North
anymore.
can do it.
I just need to see Osiris dual wielding Dawn Blades into a Well of Radiance, into a Chaos Reach, just...
Listen, I'll have a Warlock-gasm when that happens, okay? I'll Nova Bomb all over this place.
I just imagine him talking to Sagira and, like, in his best Optimus Prime voice, Samuel Witwicky, put the cube into my chest. That's what I imagine him doing when he, like, gets all the light from her at the very end.
I really need to know what was on his private drive that he was telling Sagira to send a Saint. Was it important Guardian stuff, or was it naughty stuff?
Nudes.
It was naughty stuff.
It was compromising nudes.
Yeah.
He's
just laying out in the Well of Radiance like
office.
this.
It's a video of him in the nude dancing to Shax's mixtape.
Dripping with Beck's milk. Yep.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ.
Let's
Nerd, please give us your favorite story before John goes off on a tangent.
I mean, I'm a big Book of Sorrow fan. I mean, I know that's very overarching and super general and covers a lot of content.
That's why you're a nerd generalist, not
exactly.
nerd specific.
I don't get specific on anything.
He's not the nerd archivist.
Really, before I met Josh, I didn't pay attention to a lot of the lore, like especially through the first few years of Destiny 2. I didn't play Destiny 1. That much. I've only played towards the very end before Destiny 2 came out. I didn't really understand where all the lore was in the game and stuff. So when they started publishing the Grimoires is really when I started to like see just how much backstory there was into this whole universe that was created. So reading through the Book of Sorrow in order for the first time was a real eye-opening thing, and it was really cool. I mean, all those pieces of lore are so just like beautifully written and just really weave like a really awesome history there. And so for me, that takes the cake.
Yeah, I agree. I have a feeling that Books of Sorrow is going to be my pick as well when we get to it, because you look at it, that's really the first time that I think the lore took on a life of its own in Destiny. It wasn't just like these little Grimoire cards. It was like, oh my God, there's a whole like ancient backstory of the Hive that's playing out here, right?
It's also such a backbone for all of the. It's really a lot of the lore is built on kind of that backbone.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did the right thing. Like they looked at how well received that was, and they went, oh my God, we should make like the entire narrative should be like this. And at that point, like Rise of Iron is obviously pretty deep into production, right? Mm-hmm. And they still did some of that with the Siva and whatnot, but just how all the Books of Sorrow and how Kingsfall is kind of the culmination of that up to that point. And you think you're done with it, and then Destiny 2 brings it back in a whole new way when you're like, oh shit, they just name dropped Savathun in Forsaken. Like she is behind what's going on here in the Dreaming City. She's behind this. We started getting the inkling of, oh, she's impersonating Eris to us, and Xivu Arath is here. Oh my God, these are names that we've only ever seen in the Books of Sorrow, and now they're going to take a center role in this story. Like that's still playing out.
Yep.
We haven't even dealt with Xivu Arath yet. Corey, what would your pick be for your favorite lore story?
I mean, I really liked the season of the Splicer storyline. I don't know, this whole last kind of year leading up to where we're at now has been really interesting. Like, there's things that I would have liked to have liked more, I guess, but before they got into this great seasonal model that they've been in since Arrivals or the season before, right? But like, they just didn't do enough with it. Like, I think like the Rasputin stuff is super interesting, but I don't think they've done enough interesting things with it.
What, Season of the Worthy didn't keep you on your toes?
Nope, sorry.
That wasn't your favorite Destiny memory?
I mean, it's close, John, but it's. But I have to say, like, the moments we got where like they explored the relationship with the Elixni and the House of Light and Mithrax, and because I remember, Josh, when you started talking about Mithrax on the show, and I didn't really have a lot of ideas who he was, really.
Yeah.
And then like they started exploring that storyline, and obviously the culmination of him and Saint kind of defending the city, and then everybody showed up, but like that whole moment of them kind of bonding over that moment when Saint is the fallen are afraid of Saint, right? He's just terrifying to them, and then to see him become basically BFFs with the leader of the House of Light is just so cool.
Yeah. And that was such a powerful moment, because to us, Saint is two things to us Guardians. He's a legendary Titan. He's a formidable, Guardian, but he's also, our favorite robot over there, just feeding pigeons and trying to encourage us. So to see through the lens of the Elixni of what he was to them,
and like, in that kind of semi-animated cutscene where like you see the skeleton inside the helmet with when the thunder goes off, and you see like it's just so cool.
If that isn't a Helm of Saint 14 ornament during this year's Festival of the Lost, I'm gonna riot.
Yeah.
That moment, that whole story was really, like, I feel like a real stepping stone that they made in terms of storytelling, and how that they were going to let us dive deeper and connect with characters. And we're seeing that with now, like what they did with Zavala this season.
Yeah, that storyline was super cool too.
We've talked about it a lot in the past, but I always come back to I think it was Polygon who wrote it last year, that said that ironically, the game that is doing the most to talk about issues like racism, bigotry, xenophobia, fear-mongering, hate-mongering, and things like that is Destiny 2.
Yeah. Like,
that was the season where, like, I think we all saw the story take a big step forward during Chosen, because we had the narrative with Keitel and Saladin. You had the story behind the Glycon with Catabus, with his ghost, with the crumpled remains of Callus. Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, that's all kind of cool. We had the Hawkmoon storyline, and then this kind of took it to a whole new level. And I think Lost, I think they've, at the very least, they've maintained it. And I think Witch Queen as an expansion took another step forward for the narrative. And now we're seeing the same narrative choices play out now. Now we're talking about things like confronting our traumas and our inner demons. And like, I've seen people like sarcastically say, "Oh, this is Crow's therapy hour." Like, no, this is actually super important for who he is. Like, this is kind of the last time that we should be dealing with Crow for quite a long time now, because he's
the
been
culmination of a year of character growth for him, right?
Really, of all three of these. If you look back at the last year, like, a lot of it has really been the story of Zavala, Keitel, and Crow.
Mm-hmm.
We got Saladin's resolution already. Saladin is now Valis Forge. Like,
yes,
we've had his resolution. We've got the resolution of the other three now. I'm excited to see what else. I think Eris is done for a little bit. Who else do we get? We've already suspected, like, Drifter is going to come into the story. Mithrax has to come back. Mm-hmm. We got to see Saint and Osiris' story play out. Like, Anna Bray is sitting here, inceptioning an Engram right now, trying to talk to Rasputin. We got some problems here, people.
Yeah. It's funny.
If I wasn't going to pick... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's funny that like you brought up all the different ways that Destiny is dealing with different types of storylines, and I was on the other podcast that I do, the Boss Rush podcast. We were talking about story and stuff in games, and I was telling, the other people on the show, like, Destiny is doing a really great job of exploring racism and diversity and stuff, and they were like looking at me like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, yeah, Destiny is doing a better job than a lot of other games that do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they're not doing it on purpose, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of games out there that are like, that's the mission of the game, is to tell you this deliberate story about something, right? And Destiny is doing it kind of in a...
Instead, our dumb fun game is forcing us to learn something.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just incredible what they've done in the last, I would say, year and a half at least. that it's just...
It's crazy that with the added context of everything we know about the Bungie of years past, how they've cleared toxic people out of the writing room on the lore team. Ever since then, suddenly the story is S tier and makes sense and it has a lot of worthwhile things in it. Crazy how that correlates.
Yeah. It's not a coinky dink at all. To kind of close out our favorite lore stories, I probably would have gone Books of Sorrow, but I think I'm going to go to my 1B, and it's the story of the man with the golden gun. I think the story of Thorn and the Last Word is it's a story that transcends so many games, right? Like, Books of Sorrow are the foundation, like Nerd said, for so much of our lore now, but
oh my gosh,
Thorn and the Last Word are... You can't tell the story of the Hunters without that.
Yeah.
You can't tell the story of Gunslingers without that. Like, without that story, Kate Six never becomes a Guardian. Without that story, we don't have the Tale of Vandal Brass. We don't have the Vanguard Dare, because Shin Malphur and Jaren Ward really set the stage for what comes. Shin is the only person we know of who was alive and has retained memories of who they were before they were a Guardian, because Jaren Ward told his ghost to go to him. He knew the minute he came into the village, he knew that there was a connection there, and because of that, Dredge and Yor hunted them. He baited him. He baited Shin out, and Shin fucking murdered him with the last word. And just straight up chopped him down, and ever since then, he's made it his mission to hunt down the Dredgens and the fallen Guardians. And he's made it very clear to us, even in the present day, he's still alive and kicking, that if we ever go down the path and he doesn't like it, he'll put a bullet in us too, but he feels that we're the one Guardian that is meant canonically to straddle that line perfectly.
John, that might make you feel a little differently about gilding your Dredger title again this season.
Joke's on you. I don't play Gambit anymore.
Well, there's the other thing that I love about that storyline, because that was like one of the good through lines of that year of storytelling was, funny enough, exotic hand cannons. But what it really did was, I think, kind of tee up where they're taking the Destiny franchise, where it isn't so simple a story of people who wield light are good and people who wield darkness bad. Showing us an evil guardian, someone wielding the light and just wiping out innocent people, and kind of blurring that gray line further. And I think that is where the Destiny story started to grow up from dumb, generic space wizard stuff to something a little more nuanced.
Hey, don't talk about space wizards like that.
Hey. I love Space Wizard.
But yeah, so let's go on to another memory here that was sent in to us before we dive into any more questions. This one comes in from Sammy. Sammy's written in some questions lately for us. He goes, "Hey guys, Sammy here. Wanted to start by saying thank you for making such an amazing show. One that always makes my work days go by better and brings a smile to my face. Also, thank you for pushing the message to be better and that everyone is welcome. As a non-binary person, it means a lot to hear that from one of my favorite shows. Anyways, Destiny memory. I think the one that resonated so much with me was one late night in 2020. At the end of Season of Arrivals, me and my buds from the UK stayed up well into the night to witness what I think was the best event in Destiny. I remember us theorizing what could happen to the Traveler and how hyped we got seeing that last cutscene. We had so much fun that night, and I've never felt more immersed in the world and close to my fire team. Sadly, that fire team is disbanded since due to life moving on, but I still look upon it fondly. I think the future of Destiny is bright, and that in terms of the game, our upcoming battles against the Witness could prove to be some of the best stuff we've seen. With Guardians like yourselves leading the helm and the community we built, Destiny looks bright. Thanks for the good times.
That event was really cool, but it was a shithole performance-wise.
It was, and I mean, I think that's why they've like largely abandoned doing things like that. Is last gen hardware is just it's yanking it down. I mean, none of us had the new consoles yet. The consoles arrived the next morning during the downtime. I remember you, me, and Joe all like freaking out in the group chat, being like, "Oh my god! Like, it was my Series X going to get delivered in time for me to jump in or not?"
Yep.
And instead, I just busted open Chelsea's Series S and played on that.
I'm glad they experimented with it. I would like to see it more in the future. And I think I've seen some interviews from them where they're like, well, we want to make sure there's a reason to do it. We don't want to just have an event to throw an event, you know?
Yeah, I want to circle back to this discussion, Lynn. This is going to tie into some things we're going to talk about towards the end of the show, our thoughts about the future. So let's hold that thought real fast, because I am coming around to that talk that you're referencing, John. I promise we're getting there. We're going to go through one more email before we do some more questions. This one comes to us from Christy. Hi, Josh and Corey. Congrats on 100. Super excited for y'all. If this is long, I'm sorry. I have a couple memories to share and one question for you guys. For a bit of background, I'm a kindergarten compared to you guys, so my memories are probably more recent than most. The first regular event I played were the Black Armory Forges, and my first season pass was for Arrival, so I'm just a baby warlock. My first memory is during my first day one experience, which was for Deepstone. I'm a fairly casual player, and I'm absolutely horrid at raids, so I was just in chat to listen while my husband and his fire team played. One of our buddies decided to pick this moment in time, probably during the second encounter. I think we all know Atrax won on opening day very well at this point.
What do you mean? We crushed it. No question.
To drink his very first Monster Energy drink ever. And oh my god, I've never heard a more hyper, off-the-walls person in my entire life, and it was hilarious. We still give him crap about it to this day, to the point he has a related name in our Discord. Second is a little more personal and community-based. My grandmother fell very ill and passed away during the summer of 2020. I've been playing long enough by this point that we had a great group of friends that we played with almost daily. My grandmother was in hospice care at my mother's when she passed, and I literally dropped my controller mid-strike and left. When I finally made it back later on, the first thing all our friends did was check on me, make sure I was okay, offer condolences, you name it. It blew my mind that this group of people I had never really met from across the world were so concerned and wanted to know if I was okay. I always use this example when people start to trash talk online gaming and the communities that are created there, because they were just as every bit concerned as my friends I actually see every day. There are so many more things to share, but these two stood out to me the most. As anybody who's listened to me for any amount of time knows, I'm pretty much a full-time caregiver. John has been on the receiving end of, I gotta go, there's a family emergency. I don't know if I'm gonna make it back, grab somebody else. And when we talk about the friends that we've made, it's a meme, but the friends we made along the way, that is what matters most in this game.
Yeah.
Real life matters more. This is a vessel for us to live real life. You know, the future is digital. Like, your friends that you make here are just as valid as your friends you have every day, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any real life friends, to be honest. Like, I mean, I do, but like, I
Mitch,
hang out
you're
with
my friend.
I mean, I know.
Corey's trying to go the Michael Scott route and just have so many kids that he has baked in friends that can't say no to him.
Corey, is your screen name Little Kid Lover?
Oh, God.
69.
Okay, to get us away from that.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
And we're
To
big.
get us away from that, legitimately, one of the reasons I spend so much time playing Destiny, other than the fact that I'm obsessed with it, the one thing that actually gets most of my playtime up there is helping other people out doing things, right? Like, it's, oh, hey, I need help doing this Vox Obscura run. Hey, I need to do this Nightfall. Hey, I'd really like to do this raid. You know, that
You and
part
I
of the game.
through a lot of the endgame content.
Yeah.
My friend Haley.
Yeah. You know, my girlfriend, our extended friends who maybe don't play as much, and, you know, hey, how do I get this dead man's tail? You know, just that is what
marathon session of getting our friend Ray through stuff before everything got vaulted.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Bruce said earlier, you know, that summer where we all just jammed everyone we could, everyone we knew through all of the raids. That was
Raid Master Corey.
Exactly. We got my friend Corey. Shout out to Corey. He only plays Destiny to raid. Just like once a year, we'll get him caught up in level, get him a couple meta weapons, and take him through some raids, and that's all he does in this game. But if I didn't have that, I would probably only play Destiny. I'd get through my season pass, get through the new story, and that would probably be it. That's what brings me in week after week, is helping friends achieve things.
Hey, John, I need some help. Josh and I need some help doing a legit Riven run.
You're done.
I volunteer as tribute.
The rest of Christie's email here. On to something more fun. I know the working theory is that Eris is on her way out. What is your most crackpot theory about how she makes her exit? And let me go ahead and, before we answer that, you guys think about your answers. I want to read the rest of Christie's email.
Her little green orb blows up, and her third eye.
This is getting
out.
long, but I just want to say I love y'all's podcast so much. I started listening about a month before Witch Queen came out. I'd gotten a little burned out and hadn't been playing as much, and listening to your show got me playing again. You guys are a pleasure to listen to. The mix of real-life conversations and gameplay and theories make for a wonderful show, and I wish I'd found you guys sooner. Thanks for everything you do, and here's hoping we're all here for number 200.
Mark your calendars, Bungie Day 2024.
Oh my god,
man, that's it. So it's funny. Before we get to the answering Christie's Eris question, we actually would. I went back and did the math. We would not have had it fall on this day if we hadn't decided to just take a random week off in March when I was out of town.
Yeah.
If we hadn't just done that, it would have fallen next week. But it lined up quickly.
I feel like once you saw the stars aligning, you would have taken a week off anyways, leading up to it.
Oh, we would have made up an excuse to take last week off. There was almost nothing. We would have taken last week off. Yeah. It was almost too perfect. But anyways, crackpot Eris theories, guys.
All right.
Who's got one? Who's got one to throw at me?
I wonder if she's gonna be the one that lets us escape in the helm, almost. Like she's gonna find a way, I mean, my theory was like Zavala was gonna stay behind, and kind of fight them off while people leave. But like, I wonder if Eris is gonna be the one that kind of sticks around and is like using her little green orb and some darkness to fight off Hive or whatever. Like if Hive are coming to try to resurrect or take home Savathun to like revive her or whatever,
She just crushes Imaru right there.
Yeah. Something.
I think she's going to teach us Hive magic. I think she's going to teach us our next darkness subclass. I think she's going to sacrifice herself to stave off something Xivu Arath is doing. Yes. And then I think Drifter is going to take her.
Ooh, I like that.
That could be crispy.
Yeah, I'm definitely on board with John's theory in terms of Eris sacrificing herself. If you read through some of her, through the transmissions through this season, Eris is really, we're kind of reaching like kind of the end of her storyline, kind of. She's kind of coming to terms with what's happened to her throughout her whole story, and she's kind of like okay with it now, and she's finding peace, I guess, so to speak. And she's done so much for us. I'm with John on that. I think it's time for her to take the bow and go down for us.
Yeah.
I'm largely on board with the same thought. I've said before that I thought Eris was on her way out. I thought they could potentially pull a fast one on us this season and get rid of her. But I'm starting to think it might be the thing that leads us into Lightfall is Eris's death.
Yeah.
That would be a major loss for the Guardians across the board. She's the person who knows absolute most about the Hive and the Taken outside of Drifter, obviously. She has studied the Books of Sorrow. She was lost in the Hellmouth. But the lore piece with Crow this season, where he lets her fire off the Golden Gun, it's the first time she's connected with the light since her ghost died, is such a powerful moment in the storytelling that, it's one of those, I really wish there had been some way we could have seen this as a cutscene, but obviously we can't see everything like that.
Yeah. Do you want content or cutscenes? Right?
Bring back the graphic novels so that we can see some of this stuff.
Hold that thought! I promise we're getting to it. Hold that thought! I'm of two minds with Eris. Either she dies going into Lightfall, or she survives to the end of the Light and Darkness saga, and she's like the final sacrifice leading into the final shape, like into the final showdown with the Witness. I think if she does die here, we see her use the Ahamkara bone that's in that orb.
Yeah.
We see her use that in some sort of hive ritual. Could you imagine her resurrecting the Ahamkara through some sort of hive ritual, and she just comes fucking riding in on it to fight Savathun or Sivu Arath in midair?
Don't tease me.
How erect would you get if that happened?
This is some
would
Game
it
of
just be
Thrones
instantaneously
shit.
6 to midnight?
You know how mad it makes me that Destiny has this storied history of fucking space dragons in the game, and all of them are dead except for Riven, where we fight once and shoot at her face. You know what I mean? Like, I wish space dragons were in the game. Anyways,
I've got one other one, and I've shared this theory before, and this is the route I genuinely hope they go. I don't know that. And this is part of why I brought up the Man with the Golden Gun, with Jaren Ward's ghost. Mm-hmm. I think we may be getting ready to see this for a second time. We read the Finch lore last season about how he refuses to resurrect his Hive Guardian. That brings up an interesting question. Can ghosts refuse to resurrect their guardian? Could they find somebody else that's worthy of the light? What if Finch becomes Eris's new ghost? They're both broken. They've both been through so much trauma.
I don't think it's Eris. I think it's Osiris is going to get a ghost.
Yeah. I think so too.
So the only reason that I argue Eris is, what if it's Finch, and then when Eris inevitably Eris dies, and that's when Finch resurrects her. But when she comes back, she takes the cloth off for the first time. And you actually see her. Does she come back with her eyes, or does she still have the hive eyes? Like, imagine Finch resurrects her, and that's when she does the Ahamkara ritual. Like, there's so much shit you can do with Eris Morn that it's almost like I wouldn't have thought last season, oh, we're gonna go back to the Leviathan with Eris, and we're gonna see a redeemed Aldrin Sov and Dominus Gaul walking around in the helm.
Josh, I've almost made a joke about it every season of this is the season we get Callus back, and then they finally did it. I don't even know what to do with myself.
And then they finally did it. Callus, as sexy as Shadow, doesn't know what to do with himself.
They have that triumph this season, #1 fan, and they should just. I know that John's got that one done, wrapped up.
I cannot believe that was not a Bungie reward.
Yeah, where's the bobblehead?
I would have bought the bobblehead.
I know. All I got is a damn Funko. I want a glowy bobblehead. All right, Callus is #1 fan here.
Wow.
And it needs to just randomly give you Callus isms, just have his voice and speak it at random times. You can't control.
All right. So we're gonna go from that. We're gonna go into another line of thought here. Since everybody keeps inching this way, I'm going to say, screw it. We're talking about it now. What type of media do we expect to see to come out between now and episode 200, and what story would you like for it to tell? So this can be a graphic novel, an actual prose novel, an audio pod, a TV show, a movie, whatever. What do you think gets announced within the next 2 years? What format, and what story does it tell?
I want the Battle of the Six Fronts kind of maybe 4 or 5 episode miniseries, some sort of maybe animated thing. I would love live action, but they're not going to do that. I think that's too.
That
expensive.
would be so astronomically expensive.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If it was done well, live action would be so cool. But the odds of it turning out cheesy and terrible are so high, and it would cost
Halo.
so much money.
I wasn't going there. I wasn't going to say Halo, but
you don't want to see Zavala's bare ass.
I mean, I would love to
We
see
could get
Lance Reddick come in.
Jax takes his helmet off the first episode.
You know what would be cool though?
The helmet did not stay on.
You know what would be cool though is a live action kind of opening with the Titans standing around the old tower kind of table or whatever, and then the episodes are animated. They're kind of narrating their strategy at the beginning, live action, and then animated into the battle or the things that are happening
Corey, to
Do you
piggyback
think we
off
could get
that,
Bill Nighy back to be the speaker to narrate the opening?
absolutely.
I mean, that's fair. But what were you going to say?
Corey, what if instead they were just 10-minute clips of different famous Titans working out, live action?
I'd watch.
All right, we're gonna move on to nerds for our next one.
You were asking how erect John would be.
I just want a 10-minute.
I just want to see Shax getting a pump on.
Yeah.
Sue me, Bruce.
Helmet only.
Helmet only. Oh God.
Now, does he have both horns at this point, or does he only have one?
It depends on the timeline. It's.
Do we get the
You think Mara Sov has it just sitting on her nightstand or next to her throne?
No,
in like a
Mara
little glass?
rejected Shax. This is known.
She rejected him, but
Singer definitely took that horn to the grave.
She just wants the horn. That's all.
I do have an honest answer and not a jokey, horny one.
Give me your honest answer, John.
I want an animated series about the Iron Lords, about that period in Destiny.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much you could do there. You could follow Saladin if you want. I don't know if that's the play, but you could follow Dredge and Yor. You could deal with the Ahamkara. You could deal with the Battle of the Six Fronts. You could, there's so much in that past. That
Warlord Shax. I mean, now that we know Zavala's operating, show Zavala's past for an episode or two.
Back when Zavala was a blueberry, you could show the Iron Lords getting shit done. You could deal with Rasputin. You could deal with what Osiris was doing way back then before there was a tower. Hell, you could tell a heartwarming story about Zavala out there swinging a hammer trying to build the wall in the last city, trying to get people there. There's so much you could do in that time period. I really think that's where you need to take your focus if there is going to be a show or a story, because you're going to trap yourself trying to tell future stories, because then you need to lead the game into it,
Yeah, I think pre-Destiny 1 is the way to go. Because there's so much lore there. The Golden Age, the Fall.
Yeah.
Before you had the Guardian to take care of everything. Yeah. There were a lot.
It needs to be something that is not starring the young wolf.
Yeah,
because at that point you get it. Why it's the same issue I had when people are like, I don't know why they didn't just adapt the Halo games, because nobody wants to fucking watch that. If I wanted to go see that story, I'll go play that story. Mm-hmm. I want to see the things we've only heard about in the lore or that have only been mentioned in passing. I want to see like the Vanguard Dare play out for the first time.
Yeah.
I want to see what happened to Lula Fairwind. The hunt for what's his face for Tannix initially. Between Cade and Anvil Brass.
Which one?
What the hell was the Drifter doing out in deep space before Gaul shut off the light and he was trapped? You know what I mean? Like that itself would make an interesting story. There's
Drifter's Ice Planet.
Yep, Drifter's Ice Planet. Drifter's Space Nuggies. I want to see.
I'll give before we move on to nerd. That's my answer as well. Is my heart says animated series. I want an anime style. Like if it. And it's a pipe dream, right? But if it could be on the animation quality level of Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan, we would be in for such a treat.
Or even what was the League of Legends show?
Arcane. Yeah. They did just hire the creator of Arcane, works for Bungie now in visual media.
Mm-hmm.
Heyo.
So
they've hired a lot
as well as they also hired away the senior producer.
Yeah, I was gonna say they hired a lot of people into their transmedia kind of initiative. So I wonder if we're going to start seeing stuff soon.
I hope it's soon, but my pitch has always been and will continue to be Destiny Legends. You could tell some of these stories in, little 4 to 6 episode seasons, and then you can have some not filler episodes, but some that would only take an episode or two in between. Mm-hmm. I want to see the Man with the Golden Gun. I want to see the fall of Reese. I want to see, I want to see Mithrax basically as he comes to worship the light. I want to see
Ikora's Crucible days. Wouldn't that be a fun episode? Just 50 minutes of young Ikora whooping ass. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I want to see Uncade 6. Get Nathan Fillion back in the booth for an episode. There's so much
Sony money, Bungie. Get him back.
There's so much you could do with with Zavala and with Shax. I mean, give Shax an actual storyline. We still haven't ever really gotten a true one that's not in the lore.
Yeah.
There's so much, but my brain says they're going to do a graphic novel. I think that's a surefire conclusion. We have a graphic novel by the time we do episode 200.
Yeah.
That seems like the most simplistic thing to do is a graphic novel or to start an ongoing comic of some sort. They will be under Sony. Sony does have that relationship with Dark Horse. Dark Horse has done the comics in the past. I mean, it's definitely possible.
The comics are fantastic. So I mean, just pick up right where they left off. That was almost going to be like my pick for lore, even though there's a bunch of different stories in there. Like the graphic novels are amazing.
Well, nerd, what's your answer? Well, while we're here,
I was going to either say an animated series in an anime art style. I kind of want like more like 80s anime style, to be honest, like not 80s, early 90s, like
so like almost like Akira, Cowboy Bebop style.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
You can even kind of go the way that maybe Disney went with the Star Wars like animated things that they did, where they did different art styles with each one. I don't know, but yeah, graphic novel is definitely almost for sure ever going to have that.
Yeah, I mean that seems they could probably pump out 2 or 3.
I'm in the boat of I don't want live action at all. No. I just have zero confidence, and I brought up Halo kind of more as a joke, but like it's a perfect example of how something like this just is very, very hard to do. And they would need like a 90.
They would need like a Marvel budget to do it, even close to doing it right, and even then, that's a big risk for a studio. Like, no offense to Sony, but they don't exactly have the best track record of movie quality things, right? I mean,
no, they don't.
There is another option. I mean, they could try. So if you think about what they did with like the Final Fantasy VII series, where they did those animated, it was all CGI. It was Advent Children.
Advent Children, yeah.
Advent Children was astronomically expensive.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not, but like it's Sony. I mean, they have that money, and I'm sure that they funded that. I mean, I don't know. That's something that you could do. I mean, Destiny has fantastic CGI, and I mean, be an option. But I don't want live action. Never, ever. Don't try it.
I mean, theoretically,
never, ever.
Theoretically, like in a perfect world, I would like live action, but they're never going to do it right, so that makes me not want it. You know, that's where I'm at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on to another one.
Although, like I do think the live action Halo stuff Bungie did was pretty decent, though. Like the what was that first one that they did?
Oh yeah.
That's what I want to say about live action. If they ever did anything live action, it'd better be like a 20-minute short story.
Well, what do you guys think about? What do you guys think about some of the live action stuff that they've done for Destiny so far? I mean, I understand it's like small snippets and like commercials and stuff like that. I mean, would you guys want to see that?
I think that's where it works, because there's no story you're having to tell. There's no like extensive dialogue you're writing. You're not doing full character arcs, things like that. I think that it works for what it is.
Yeah. You don't want to see full choreographed dances.
No, the live action Japanese Destiny 2 trailer is the best representation of Destiny 2 as a game ever made, and they don't ever need to top it. You know?
Yep.
Why go back?
One and done. Let's move on. We pick up the pace a little bit here so that everybody gets out of the semi-decent hour.
No, all night.
Every show I'm ever on, you say it goes ridiculously long. So
it really does.
Bruce, same.
We have a couple more emails to get to, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the future of the game before we get out of here and do a lore corner. This one comes from Jacob. Jacob, thank you for writing in. I saw you in the chat. If you could have anything come back from Destiny 1, what would it be? It could be an item, mechanic, quest, or other, just not Sparrow Racing League because it's never coming back. I personally miss Strike-specific armor. It felt super cool to kill the Darkblade and get his helmet, or Taniks and his cloak. Thanks for a great pod, and hope you guys are okay with how messed up everything seems. I will 100% second the special Strike armor is absolutely what I want back from Destiny 1. I had to get my Scion Flare cloak out of a fucking season pass. That is absurd. I want these things given to me. Like, you don't even, and I don't want it to be as restrictive as Destiny 1, though. Like, I want it to be like, oh, like, one of them you may get, like, if you kill a wizard, like, maybe the warlock gets the robes of that. Maybe it's a special wizard, you get its robes or something. If it's a hive guardian that is the boss, maybe Titans get, like, this special hive-infested chest plate or something. Scion boss. Scion Flare Cloak. Like, it writes itself. But unfortunately, I think a lot of the things that would work for this have been put in as season pass bonuses, which is slightly frustrating. Like, we just had that awesome Scion set last season. We had the Ahamkara bone set like a year and a half ago. These are things that could have been in-game rewards for strike or raid-specific things.
Is Cade 6 a bad answer?
Get out. I already have Cade's armor. It was in Eververse.
No, you have his duds. You have his duds.
I have his fucking cloak. I have his cloak, motherfucker.
What about the
It was in the Eververse. You should know it. You're working there.
That's true. Well, no, I'm not working there. Corey wouldn't let me work there because it would get him banned.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I think you're just not allowed to say it in chat. I honestly think it could be up.
What do we think, guys? What is something from Destiny 1 you want back? And I'm going to go ahead and say you cannot say King's Fall either, because King's Fall is coming back. So
can I go first? So before you guys just completely nerd out, because I didn't play much Destiny 1. What was the mechanic where there was a consumable that would let you guarantee an exotic drop or a higher chance of exotic drop?
Oh God! It wasn't glass needles.
What the hell was that called?
Gosh. The skeleton key.
It wasn't skeleton.
That was for strikes. No, because this would guarantee.
It was another mechanic we abused.
It was yet another currency, which is definitely what.
Correct. So what I want is an exotic. I want to spend an exotic cipher that gives me an opportunity to get a guaranteed exotic.
3 of coins. 3 of coins.
That's it. Yes. To guarantee an exotic from a specific activity. And God damn it, I want Vex. I just want Vex. That's it.
Let's run Bog, Bruce. Where you at?
When it comes up for the pinnacle, we're gonna run it.
I'll go a step further with that. I want that to guarantee me. I want it to guarantee me a red border at the end of a mission.
I think it should guarantee you whatever the pinnacle type of drop is for that activity. So if it's an adept weapon at the end of a GM, or I don't think you could apply that to trials, whether it's an exotic at the end of a master lost sector, or whether it's at the end of the raid. But I don't know, that would get, there's things you could do that, get into the weeds with, but that's my thing.
Speaking of consumables from Destiny 1, I want heavy ammo synth.
God damn it! He said it.
I don't care what it costs to buy it. I will. God, how many times do we run out of heavy ammo?
It costs 10 legendary shards, and it's at Hawthorne. It's called a raid banner. All right.
No,
it's called ammo finders, guys.
I don't care. I want to be able to consume one.
Reserves.
I want to be able to consume.
Josh doesn't need ammo. He's the div bitch.
Look, I remember the bad days.
I have trace rifle ammo finders on. What are you talking about?
I remember the dark times on my PlayStation 4, waiting 20 full seconds for my menu to pop while I'm taking cover in the middle of a night while trying to pop a heavy ammo synth. Corey, you think you want it?
Has not been fighting Atheon and been like, "Hang on, guys, have to wait for my timer to reset."
Were you guys even around before raid banners in Destiny 2? Those were dark days.
Excuse you,
Bruce. I played Destiny 1,
Destiny
Bruce.
1 veteran, sir.
No, not Destiny 2, not Destiny 1.
No, I promise you,
Year
it was worse.
1 of Destiny 2, where we didn't have any way to get full heavy for an activity.
It was worse.
It was.
I promise you, it was worse.
Because your heavy was a trace rifle and you're running double primaries. You got one super strike.
I promise you, it was worse.
Thank God they made that change.
John, what's your pick so we can get off this question?
That's a hard one because so many things have improved since Destiny 1, right? Everyone has the rose-tinted glasses. Is Sparrow Horns a dumb answer? Is a Taken Shader a dumb answer?
The Taken shader, I think the Sparrowhorn answer is dumb. The Taken shader, not necessarily, but they've explained why the Taken shader can't work.
I disagree with a lot of the Destiny 1
we had Taken shader.
Not like Destiny 1 where it was literally
No, I know, but like it could work. They had it, sort of.
They gave us some technical explanation like a year or two ago about why it simply will not work in this game. I don't remember what the explanation was, but they have given an actual answer as to why it's not in the game yet.
Yeah.
If ever.
I do have a serious answer, though. Combined Arms. I want a big, dumb team battle mode. They can expand on it. There's so much they can do on it on the new systems on PC. I want a big, dumb mode with heavy weapons everywhere and supers everywhere and vehicles and sparrows enabled. I want Combined Arms back. I want a refreshed, 12v12, 20v20. I don't know, man. It's 2022. Give us a big dumb battle mode for
Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Big dumb battle mode.
Yeah. I want turrets. Whole thing. Anyways.
Corey, was heavy ammo synth your answer here?
Yeah.
Okay. Jacob also sent us a memory. One of my favorite memories from Destiny was doing a VOG Catalyst run. I helped 5 guys from LFG get the Catalyst for Vex, even though I didn't have it yet. Thankfully, they all agreed to finish the raid and help me get mine. Of course, I still didn't get it on that run. I got it eventually, but that run reminded me of how good the community can be. Thanks for a great show. You guys do a phenomenal job, and thank you for speaking about all the hard topics as well as the good ones.
Sounds like they have a really great fire team who runs stuff with them after they get all their stuff.
Nope, he went to LFG, like you can.
Damn!
You walked into that one. You absolutely walked into that one. You deserve it. We have another. It's our last memory that we have here tonight. It comes in from Joseph. He says, "I got a three-way tie between getting my first Gallarhorn drop in Destiny 1, my first flawless Lighthouse run in Trials, and clearing Skolas in Destiny 1 for the first time because it was really hard."
Skolas. Oh.
Skolas is never allowed to come back.
No.
Corey and I, that's my nightmare, Skolas.
No,
God.
We don't have Taken Taniks. We don't have Taken Skolas. We got one more in us. Come on.
No more
John,
Skolas.
you did not live with him chasing you around that arena. That's where we coined the phrase the loser lap. My Guardian's out here trying out for a triathlon because I can't stop to get reses. I can turn around and fire off a pulse.
Grandmaster, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
It was
Grandmaster Skolas.
One and done. Corey, what would you do if that's what they unvault instead of King's Fall or Wrath of the Machine? This
show would end instantly.
We're not making it to 200, guys.
Damn.
Oh man. Hats off. That's your favorite memory. Hats off, man. I agree with the Lighthouse run. I agree with the Gallarhorn drop.
I'm all for. We got to address this in the chat.
I'm all for Prison of Elders coming back or something similar to Prison of Elders. Just leave Skolas out of it, right? Leave him out of it. I like Prison of Elders a lot. I hate Skolas. I never want to see that fucker again. Okay. God.
Write it down. There's another shirt. I never want to see that fucker again, and we'll plaster on a picture of Skolas.
Have Skolas like doing the copper tone baby pose. Who, me? Okay, and then we have our final question of the night. Comes in from Andre. Of course, Andre's been doing a series with us, asking us our favorite exotics in each slot and our favorite ornament. And so this one is: what is your favorite exotic heavy weapon and ornament to go along with it? I'll let you guys take this one.
Nerd, I think you're muted.
Yeah, Nerd's muted.
Yeah, I was. Josh, could you repeat the question, please? My audio cut out there.
So what is your favorite heavy exotic weapon and ornament for a heavy weapon?
Luckily, I have the game open right now. I can.
John, I'm gonna go to you first. You're our weaponsmith. What's your take on this?
Man, there's a lot going on, but it's got to be Anarchy, right?
Damn it!
It's
Took mine.
it's got to be.
Still
Anarchy.
say it.
No.
Yeah, no, Anarchy is just so fun and unique, and even after the nerf, I mean, you can still do the thing with it, but you gotta fucking try hard. But
Do the magic hand thing.
Yeah, what I love about Anarchy and why I used it for so long, because I mean, I love raids, but we don't always have a raid team around. What I loved it for was solo content, was for Grandmaster Nightfalls. I could just slap some Anarchy nipples on a bad guy and get into cover and deal with ads and constantly deal damage. And in those ideal scenarios like a raid, I really did like that loop of throwing the Anarchy nipples on and then going ham with a slug shotgun or a sniper. You know, it was just an enabler to deal extra damage and double up on that with an energy weapon. Kind of doing the same thing now with Witherhorde, but Anarchy is my favorite exotic.
If you were a warlock, Johnny, I would say Anarchy is still one of the best.
Excuse you.
One of the best choices right now.
John is the only person I know who actually plays all three classes.
I did for a while.
Well, you're not now, so...
I started Destiny as a warlock, sir.
GTFO.
Then mistakes were made, sir.
And then I grew.
Yeah, GTFO, ta-ta for now. John, favorite ornament on a heavy weapon, real quick.
Oh, God. It's going to sound dumb, but I'm just going to throw out every Whisper of the Worm ornament that they've released in D2 because they are all fucking hot fire. They are so good. And I never use that weapon. I never do. But
Roar of the Worm is something special.
Yeah, just some of the coolest shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 50 cal sniper with a dragon face and a Taken shader on it. It's just so sexy.
Corey, hit me with your favorite heavy exotic.
You know where I'm going with this, Josh.
All right, it's Gallarhorn. What's your favorite ornament?
The Iron Gallarhorn ornament. I thought
Wow.
I also bought the Halo ornament, the Spanker ornament.
Spanker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be cooler than it was, and then you put it on and it's like, this is not as cool as I wanted it to be.
It looks like the Spanker.
It does, but I'm like, I thought this was going to be cooler. But yeah, dude, Iron Gallarhorn. I'm a simple man, okay? Mostly because
Josh gets his Nerf Gallarhorn ornament.
Mostly because I don't play enough or with
I can't
enough
wait for
people
that.
to get, all these other cool exotics. But I'm a simple man. Gallarhorn. The Iron Gallarhorn. It's a classic. It's effective. It's fun. So
It do the big
Corey's
boom.
explanation of Gallarhorn there reminds me of Sam Rockwell in Iron Man 2 when he's trying to sell all the weaponry to Rhodey
Oh,
to
my
put in the
ex-wife.
War Machine suit. And he's like, yeah, I see you, though. This is a little too disco for you. Okay, let's take it down a notch.
Look, this is my Beethoven's Fourth. This is my Stairway to Heaven. This is the
My Cuban cigar.
do I need to do his cool little dance
a
walkout?
gun. This gun's
No.
so smart. it can Write a book and read it to you. Yeah, that's Gallarhorn.
Nerd, hit me with yours. Hit me with your picks here.
Well, Johnny took both of mine, so I'll go different direction. Recent favorite heavy exotic is Parasite. I get it. It's not all fancy boss damage, but there's nothing cooler than just jumping
Fucking
into
goofy.
a huge pile of dudes, shooting one of the worm and just blowing everything up and seeing big numbers pop up on the screen. Yeah, just shooting worms at huge piles of dudes. That's Destiny in a nutshell for you. From a design standpoint, like what the exotic actually looks like, Lament is pretty freaking cool. It's a fucking chainsaw sword. I mean, the actual ornaments. Actually, there's a cool ornament that I don't have. But yeah, Lament's awesome looking.
Lament is the shit, indeed.
Yeah, I think for me, in terms of my actual favorite, like for functionality, it's probably Anarchy. It's just still so unique. Or like fucking 1K. 1K is also up there for me.
I would say that's literally the only exotic in the game I don't own yet.
Yeah.
So.
1K is it's like they looked at how you could carpet bomb something in like Top Gun and said, what if that but handheld? I really love 1K, and from a design perspective, it's got some of the absolute best ornaments in the whole game. It's fucking Ahamkara bones. Come on, man. But I really do stand by what I said earlier. Roar of the Worm. It's the ornament from a couple seasons back for Whisper of the Worm is awesome. It's the black and green one. I really like that. It looks like a black husk almost like a Taken Slim Jim in a way.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of cool. It's got like some lime filling in there. You know, they put the lime in the coconut for us.
Can't believe we didn't get any love for Christmas Xeno. I mean, they were trying.
Oh man,
that's
the fact that Omar has a little Christmas hat on his little worm body.
Yeah,
oh,
we're honorable mention Xenophage. Joe, we're remembering you, Xenophage.
Christmas Xeno.
Christmas Xeno. Andre, thank you for your question, as always. I have a couple things that I want to get to before we get to Lore Corner and final remarks tonight. I'm going to skip a couple of these, or just forget it. They're too long-winded. But the first of two last questions that I have here. If you could add a brand new destination, what would it be? If you could go into the game right now, you don't have to give me a story reason. If you could add a brand new destination, what would it be? It has to be brand new. It cannot be returning from earlier in this game or from Destiny 1. Brand new. Where is one location you would like to go?
Pluto.
Oof.
Mine's got to
I
be.
can't tell if you're joking or not.
You'll never know.
I actually have an answer for this. I have an answer for this one, so I'm gonna let you guys think. Mine is the Vex Forge. The star where the Vex.
He heard you and he just stole it, John. I saw it.
Like a hunter would.
It is. Well, pay attention. My golden gun's coming for your ass. It is the destination I've wanted to see the most for a very long time. I really, really thought they were going to pull a fast one on us with Deepstone Crypt, and I was very alarmed that we got Taniks instead. But we got the spacewalk, so it's all good. I think the Vex Forge is something that we may not see this game. Like, I'm not talking like Lightfall, like in the Light and Dark saga, but it feels like one of the next great mysteries to unfold in our explorations outside the galaxy. Because the portal that is on Europa is a portal to the Vex home. So that is right for exploring from a exploration concept, from a lore perspective. That is the most interesting thing left to me. Mm-hmm. Whoever wants to go next.
My serious answer is the Lixney homeworld. I want to go see, like, if
Reese.
If like Mithrax can like rebuild
Walker,
the like kind of rebuild the society of the fallen and like bring them, back to, not like, I don't know, maybe they get the light. I mean, we saw Savathun get the light, so who knows what's going to happen now? But like,
I maintain Mithrax as a guardian before the end of this saga.
Yeah. What if he gets
House of Light coming up?
Yeah. So yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to explore it and see like, what that world looks like. I don't know what kind of lore reason we would go there or what kind of story they would tell there, but I think it would be really interesting to go see it.
I mean, I think there's a multitude of them, right? Like I've said that I feel like my next question for the record was going to be, where do we think the game goes in the future? It was going to be for the next 2 years, but they're clearly going to set up what's going on beyond then. By the time 200 rolls around, we will be getting ready to get the reveal of what's next.
Yeah.
We will be, if we haven't already found out, in all frankness. And I do think that seeing Reese, maybe seeing Fundament, the ruins of Torabal. Torabal, I still think Torabal shows up as a War Moon, as like a Hail Mary move in Lightfall.
I want to see
Alice, bring it.
I want to see it
that's
back in its
Zivu
heyday,
Arath,
though.
baby. Zivu Arath made into a Hive War Moon.
I want to see it back in its heyday, though, when the Cabal were on it, doing stuff.
When Callus was in charge.
That's
and it was
what the
Space
Destiny
Realm.
anime is for.
I want to go to the fighting pits.
My answer is Old Chicago. I get why Bungie doesn't want to spend an entire year of dev time to build a city on Earth when they're making a space magic game, when you can build something like like the Throne World or the Dreaming City. I totally understand it, but I am so curious what the rest of the planet looks like outside of the last city. I would really like to dive into that, and again, that's maybe a space they could take an animated series in. But there's my answer.
I don't think exploring Earth is outside the question. But I do want to note that I think Bungie themselves has thrown a little bit of water on the fire of Old Chicago and basically said that originally when they were building Witch Queen, they thought about bringing it back, but they retooled Old Chicago into the Throne World.
Yeah.
So
which made a lot
I
more
don't want
sense
to
for
put
the story
anybody's hearts here, but it may just be living on in the concept art and in our wildest dreams.
It could be Old Chicago. It could be San Francisco. It could be Tokyo. I just want to see.
Okay. I would love to see a futuristic destroyed Tokyo. I'm gonna be honest.
I just want to see. I mean, the only humans in the system can't literally only be under the Traveler.
Really,
right?
Johnny? You would go? You would be okay with seeing like Lincoln, Nebraska?
Yeah, let's go to Ohio.
Bungie, give us Chicago, San Francisco, Tokyo, Sydney. Bungie, okay, here's Waco, Texas.
Oh, God.
Here's Morgantown, West Virginia.
Country roads.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, no. The last multiplayer game that was here was bad. It killed the franchise.
I want to
Send
go
us to
on
Florida.
I want to hop in a Winnebago with the Drifter, and I want to take a tour, okay?
Hey, the Traveler just really wants to see Space Mountain, okay?
Destiny Flight Sim.
Oh, my gosh.
Finch just wants to ride Rise of the Resistance with us. It's okay.
It's broken.
It's down for maintenance still, even in post-apocalypse.
What if the whole twist?
Have a destination they want to get to, because I do want to tie this into our final question that I do think is going to take a little bit of discussion time here. This is why I was trying to get you guys to hold off on some of those, because you were banging on the door of this one.
Hey, that's what we do, man. We bang.
We've heard for the last couple of months, ironically going back to the week that Corey and I skipped, was the GDC talk that Justin Truman gave. On how they've been using cloud technology and how they've gotten into the seasonal release schedule. And they kind of showed a little bit of a roadmap, how they've got seasons playing out for Lightfall and for the Final Shape. But right after Final Shape, there was this other gigantic thing that is codenamed Goliath. And my final question is, given that graphic that we've seen and Luke Smith's recent comments about how they know that the new player experience sucks in this game, but they don't really. They flat out have said they cannot divert the resources to making that good right now when they're in the final stages of the Light and Dark saga. Mm-hmm. What do we think Goliath is? Because I have a theory I want to pitch to you guys, and I want to have a discussion on this before we go to Lore Corner.
Yep, it's the mobile game.
Destiny Immortal.
Oh my God! Fucking get out of here. What Goliath? In a dream world, I think what I would want to see from this is their cloud solution for all of the Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 content that has not been brought over, that has not been updated, that is vaulted, that you have an annual update to the game when the new expansion comes out. When you vault an expansion, that just means it's removed from the core downloads. You are free to download it to your console or to your PC at any time and explore that. The planets are explorable, the strikes are all in-game, but you have to individually download a raid pack, a dungeon pack, and your story packs. Mm-hmm. Because the stories, with having those predetermined levels, really did eat up a lot of the room in these games. Those with the language packs. My ideal thing when you say, oh, we want a new player experience, put everything from the beginning of Destiny 1, even if you don't want to go back to the Destiny 1 campaigns, fine. I can forgive that. As much as I like the Taken King, there was an awful lot of filler there. Even if you just back to the Red War. Imagine Goliath encompasses everything from the Red War onwards, and we just bring maybe the strikes and the raids over from D1. Mm-hmm. Would that satisfy as a new player experience? That everything is just back to the way it should have been from the beginning?
I think that's part of it. I think another thing that I wish and hope for Destiny 2 moving forward is a revitalization of the social experience, which is more than just adding old content. I feel like we got guided games in 2018 and they haven't taken another stab at it since. Yeah. You look at something like the Let Me Solo Her guy in Elden Ring. I wish there was somewhere I could physically go to in Destiny to help people do hard stuff.
Why is there not an LFG kiosk in the tower?
Exactly. Yeah. Just and beyond helping new players, I feel like if we're moving into this MMO space, over the last 2 years, they've given us a meaty RPG build system, right? They've given us that depth there. They've given us a good cadence of new loot to go after. They've given us a story that we can follow in game. They've checked all these things off, and insert rant about PvP here. What I think they really need to focus on moving forward is that social experience of an MMO. Giving us weird random activities. Why isn't Guardian Games a carnival? Why isn't it a festival where we're doing weird, stupid shit? Why aren't there better social spaces? Why don't clans matter more?
Oh God, please give me a clan experience or just get rid of them at this point.
Exactly. That's where I think, other than, again, insert PvP rant here, they need to focus on moving forward and growing Destiny and truly making it this MMO light experience they've been building up to for 9 years now.
Yeah, we're about to go into year 9 of this game. In about a month and a half, we will cross into year 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Goliath is. Why wouldn't it just be something new? Why? Because I feel like
because on the roadmap it was literally right there with final shit.
Yeah, I'm reading right now a job description for the Goliath leadership team.
They're hiring a narrative director.
It exclusively mentions Destiny in the job description. Work with Goliath team leadership and other producers to help define and deliver the roadmap of future Destiny releases. So it's tied in. It's part of it.
I think that has to be on the radar though. They know there's the demand for that content. That there's this feeling in the community of we paid for this stuff, we want it back. And I think some of the seasonal events and stuff I don't think you're going to see things what's it called? What was the Drifter event we all hated so much?
Gambit?
No, the other one, the one that they vaulted.
The Reckoning.
Gambit Prime.
Reckoning.
Oh yeah, Reckoning.
Nobody wants to see the Reckoning back. One person does, and it's Max. Sorry, Max, you've been overruled. The Black Armory Forges, I'm cool with those never coming back.
Yeah,
but the story is there for them. Yeah, bring the fucking loot back. Bring back Blast Furnace, but everything else can go away.
In the story,
bring the raids back and whatnot. I mean, maybe you still go to those forges in the context of the story, but there's no actual armory events happening because they've mentioned part of the thing that they had was the player base was way too spread out.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here a little bit, in that bringing back a lot of the old, especially I know we said you'd have to filter through story content to some extent. I just think they're on such a different narrative level now with storytelling and really just content in general that bringing back some of that old stuff and having that be the new user experience would almost be a detriment.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having to play through a bunch of that stuff just to get to the good stuff that we have now. I think it would really hinder the new user.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to play all of it. What I think I would be arguing is if you're a new player, you need to play through a condensed version of the Red War campaign.
Yeah.
The 8 biggest missions, they introduce you to a couple of the planets, how to play the game.
Yeah.
You understand why you're in the new shittier tower or whatever, and then you're open to do anything. You have to play through 4 hours, and then you're free to do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need those dumb missions where you have to go set up patrol points, right? That's that was stupid, right?
Cut that bullshit out. Cut that bullshit out.
What I don't think you need to bring all of the old story stuff back just to get new players into it, but I do think it should be there because you look at stuff like
Yes.
Warcraft, like Final Fantasy Online. There is like hundreds of hours of content for
plus
new
Final Fantasy
players to
14
dive
just
into.
redid all of their like initial things. Like they revamped it to make it more streamlined, right? Like
You can play the first 100 hours for free, I'm told.
yeah. And
Yes,
so
you can.
like
I did it.
like why can't like okay, so say they want to bring back stuff from D1, right? Like you could totally condense the original campaign, Dark Below, and House of Wolves into like 10 missions, right? And from what I remember, Taken King's main missions in Taken King weren't that wasn't that
There's
long.
like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went through it, and half of it is dumb fetch quest shit with like 2 really good missions in between. So you could definitely cut a lot of that out. We don't need to farm spin metal. We don't need to, you know.
Bring back Shield Brothers Strike is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yes!
strike was awesome.
Give it to me as a Grandmaster, please.
That was a genuinely unique strike. Like that's the kind of shit that I want to see come back. If you go and do Goliath, you call it Goliath codename. You got to go big or go home.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, like to come back on that for a second, like that shit still exists. Like people can go play through that stuff right now. Like if they want, you can buy
You can play through the Destiny 1 stuff. You can't play through
I know you can't play through Destiny 2 stuff, but
right.
like we're
and
talking
I
about.
think that this would focus more on D2 in all frankness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me asking for the strikes is just that's a personal thing. Like I want to see more variety in that playlist because I'm tired of playing the same shit
But
after
like
6 years.
Anything new in that playlist.
But
I
like-
want to see something not called the Arms Dealer.
Yeah, but like you could totally bring back like the Dreadnought in the future, and the arms in the Shield Brothers strike could totally come back, right? Like that's not out of the realm of possibility.
You can have a legacy tab where you don't need to get through it to play Destiny 2, but once you do start playing Destiny 2, you could go through that. You could go through the Black Armory. You could go through Saving Saint 14. You could go through everything we did in Season of the Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you can't go back and play like the Quaria mission is malpractice. That's designer malpractice. That is not a strike. That is actually a major entity in Destiny.
I have a thought that literally just came to my brain, and I don't want to sidetrack the conversation that we're having here.
No, you're good.
But what if Goliath isn't a game per se? What if Destiny, as we're kind of like seeing it now, like almost becomes like a channel for all of this additional content that they're adding in? Like, what if the animated and series that they're offering, like Destiny is now like not just a game, but it's also like a streaming app, for
like a Halo Waypoint type thing.
Yeah,
but
it's more like
better.
a hub for all of this other content that they're creating that all feeds into one entry point, one access
I
point.
mean, realistically, that's probably a safer bet than anything that we're speculating about. And I mean, this is where we say, like, keep expectations in check. Like, I'm getting carried away with all this, and, like, I'm going to have this in the back of my head now for 2 years, and if it's not like this, I'm going to be like, what the fuck, guys? I gave you a roadmap on episode 100. Like,
Damn.
I mean, realistically, though, like, we're getting to the point where the raids that are still in here are beloved. You can't take out Last Wish. Like, I would say Last Wish is more precious to people than any of the Leviathan raids or Scourge of the Past ever were. Definitely more than Garden of Salvation.
Johnny, listen, he's knocking on Callus.
I just to kind of like
My man's disrespecting all the time. I'm used to it.
Corey.
realistically, if this is like them kind of figuring out how to bring back older content, I think Destiny 1 content is out of the question, unless it's like bringing back the raids in some sort of legacy fashion.
The only reason I would say Destiny 1 is if they brought forward a Destiny 1 content, they could say, okay, in 2 years, we're shutting the servers down.
Mm-hmm.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe that's the migration, like, fully from, okay, we're also going to tell you we're officially as of now, because I think it should have happened with Witch Queen, but there were not enough consoles out there at the time. It needs to happen with Lightfall, and they need to make the announcement soon. They've got to leave Xbox One and PS4 behind for the sake of this game's health.
Yeah.
Like, those consoles are holding this game back.
Yeah, they didn't upgrade their engine for nothing, you know.
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, even then, I still think a lot of that is like patchwork. I think a true next engine will come with whatever Goliath is.
Plus, there's
in 2 years.
I mean, there's what, about 35 million consoles out there now. There's, the PC release. Like, there's enough out there.
You'll get through another holiday season, and there's going to be more than enough. You'll be 2 full years into the life cycle. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
And we have to think about the 12 people in Stadia. They could be eaten better if we didn't have to keep up with these old consoles.
My God. Okay. Any final thoughts on Goliath before we do a quick lore corner, and then we start wrapping up and getting out of here?
I whatever it is, I bet it's going to be big, huge.
I bet Shax just gets his horn back. That's what it is.
So, Gallarhorn is surprise, surprise. It's our lore corner tonight. I know we've read this twice before on the show, but I maintain this. I do not think
they've released it twice before in the game, so it's perfect.
He's just trying to justify his purchase today. That's all.
This is my coping strategy. I don't think that there is a better encapsulation of community in Destiny than there is in this lore tab. That really just kind of encapsulates everybody's experience if you're a new player. So if there's beauty and destruction, why not also in its delivery? Faisal Crux. I had to do this, though. It's my boy Randy, okay? Randy finally reaches the tower. It was a long road from the Cosmodrome, but Shah Han had given him some good directions. Yeah. His ship had only exploded twice on the trip from Old Russia, and while he defended his Ghost's second and much better repair job, he even found some loot. As he materializes on the receiving pad of the tower, a gathering horde of humans and guardians of all ages gather around a singular figure deep in the crowd. Randy can feel an almost mythic aura, exotic even. Radiating from the figure, he jabs his scuffed elbows through the crowd to get a clear look. When he finally breaks through, he understands the draw. The Guardian. They stand, one leg propped up on the tower railing. Randy's ghost talked about this person a few times before. Some kind of hero. Big deal. Randy was a hero, too. Amazing, a Titan says about the weapon in the Guardian's hands. Randy looks at the Titan wearing a strange chainmail visor. It's just a rocket launcher. I got one of those in Old Russia the other day. Randy brags proudly, unholstering a launcher. His ghost, Dandy, nudges him. Now listen here, Barry Blue, Dandy says. What you're looking at in the Guardian hands is a top-of-the-line Wolfpack deployment device, each firing of which unleashes hell in the form of a swarm of homing micro-rockets. I told you a flock of crows is called a murder? Well, they really should have reserved this name for that swarm instead. Randy holds up his bad omens. I can put a tracking module on this. Dandy chuckles. I guess. Randy looks at the bad omens. His pride turns into frustration at the mediocrity of his equipment. In a fit of anger, he heaves the launcher over the Guardian's head and over the tower railing. Guardian pivots and drops to a solid stance. They shoulder and fire off the Gallarhorn like a volcanic eruption, blowing the bad omens to smithereens. Micro-tracking rockets hunt down and turn each piece of falling debris to fireworks before they hit the ground. The arcid sweet smell of burning fuel hangs in the air, and Randy's jaw drops. The Guardian steps forward and places the Gallarhorn into Randy's hands with a smile. Start your legend with this instead. There is no more iconic weapon in this game than the Gallarhorn. It is one of the most iconic weapons, I would say, in video game history at this point. Largely around the mythic aura of it, how hard it was to get in Destiny 1, how iconic it has continued to be. People who have never played Destiny know about the Gallarhorn.
Yeah.
And
remember when the Minnesota Vikings
Randy
tweeted
is the
about
true
it?
blueberry in the story.
That's fair. Remember when the Minnesota Vikings tweeted about the Gallarhorn? And everybody tweeted back at them and said, "It's not about you."
Yeah, on Gallarhorn Day, it was great. It was great. I
have fired Wolfpack rounds at dire wolves in Dungeons and Dragons. That's how far this goes, people. It's
Dungeons and Destiny. Yeah, there's no more iconic weapon. There's a reason why there's a $200 Nerf gun for Gallarhorn. This is wild. This is something that shouldn't exist. This was something they put into the game. This is the dumbest weapon aside from a chainsaw sword I can think of.
Don't
and
justify.
yet it's also the most satisfying.
And this is where Josh announces that he's bought a Nerf Gjallarhorn for each one of his co-hosts today. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Oh, fuck y'all! Hell no.
I think everybody in the chat needs one too.
Nope. I am not made of money.
Congratulations, everybody in the chat. Josh is buying you a Gjallarhorn.
I will make paper Gjallarhorns for everybody.
Josh's wallet saying it's been a week.
Josh's wallet has left the chat. I want to pivot us towards closing. We start wrapping episode 100. Of course, Corey and I'll end it out like we always do. But Nerd, John, thank you for being here with us. We don't get to 100 episodes without you guys joining us periodically. Being members of the LOG, and Joe, who couldn't be here with us tonight. There's a reason why we call you guys up when we need a guest host. We love what you bring, the friendship that we have, the fellowship that we all share. The raids, the dungeons, the loot, the cursing at each other for getting exotic drops long before the others. John's stupid RNG luck. Nerd running off to do activities without Joe and I, even though he gets very upset if we do things without him, but then we look and we see, oh, this motherfucker's over here LFGing. Okay. I'm calling you out. John messaging me at 2:00 in the morning, my time, because he doesn't understand time zones, asking me to come help with with the final encounter on a raid or a dungeon.
To be fair, he probably knows you're up watching some show that comes out in like 5 minutes or something.
Nope. Explaining to my girlfriend why I'm climbing out of bed at 2 a.m. And all I say, I've literally looked at her and said, "The boys need me," and just walked out of the room.
Respect.
Yeah. Yep. My boys need me. We don't get here without you guys. So
Gondor calls raid.
I do have to say, John's
and Neckbeards will answer.
John's Titan builds I ask him for has made the game truly better for me, in my experience.
My man.
I'm gonna say
anytime.
Do you guys have anything to say before Corey and I go ahead and wrap up?
Nothing other than thank you for having me on again. Again, this is a game.
There's always an open chair.
This game is shared by all of us, and like Josh pointed out earlier, I got back into this game by finding Josh on a random Destiny subreddit, and here I am on the 100th episode of his podcast, where he's complaining about me bugging him at 2 a.m. to help someone with Grasp of Avarice. So, it's I'd say it's going good.
It's going very good.
Yep. Same thing for me. Met Corey in a Mixer chat way back in the day. And here we are. It's been a fun ride. We've had a lot of goofs, a lot of laughs, and here's to 100 more.
In Elsie's dark timeline, we would have done this show live on Mixer.
Oh, no. Are you sure that we're not in the dark timeline now?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Yeah, just a second Josh and everything. Met a lot of people in this game. Met a lot of good friends, probably, lifer friends at this point.
Yeah.
Definitely made the game a lot more enjoyable and more just better. And it's just one of those games that's gonna mean a lot to me forever, and it's because of the friendships I made and the experiences we share. And we're
gonna be thinking about this in the nursing home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
anybody want to do
back in my day, I played a video game for this.
If we position it right, we all end up in the same home. We could just do it. We could LAN it.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
God.
do a big LAN party.
Do you think they'll keep the servers up for us?
We'll be the one. We'll be the servers at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be peer-to-peer at that point.
Oh, you gotta be the divinity, bitch. I already told you. I done told you.
and I know I don't really get to play as much as I would like to, and especially with you guys, but like I still really appreciate and love our friendship, and it's because of this game, you know. So also want to thank everybody who listens to this show also. I mean, when I messaged Josh about doing the show, I really wanted to talk about Destiny, and it was just one of those situations where like I didn't have I wanted to have someone who was knowledgeable and I could have real discussions with about the game, not just like popping on a show for, you know, oh, what you been playing? Destiny, you know, one of those things.
Cool. Next topic.
Yeah, and so like the fact that Josh, when we started the show, we were like, yeah, we could probably go for like a half hour every week, and then when times are slow, we could go for, you know, every other week or whatever until the new expansion drops, and then here we are every week for the last 3 months. I would say has been what, at least an hour and a half.
Well, so we said that, and then with the release of Beyond Light, they turned the whole seasonal structure on its head in terms of the cadence of the story and everything else. We suddenly had things to talk about every single week. The developers were talking to us in ways that I've never seen a game team do before.
Yeah.
And we're still getting that. Despite some people's best efforts, we are still getting communication from the developers.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a great journey. It's been fun. This is like, if there was ever a time to start a Destiny podcast, we started at the right time, Josh, because this is the most interesting.
I don't think we could have kept it going before Season of Arrivals. I don't think we could have. Yeah. Season of the Worthy would have killed it for us.
Yeah.
Worthless. Season of the Worthless.
Season of the Worthless. Yeah. Yep.
Wait, you didn't have enough lore stuff to talk about during Season of the Drifter?
Oh my god.
But you know, I mean, I want to thank everybody who listens every week. It's been a real joy and an honor to do the show for everybody. You know, Johnny, when you come on, it's always fun. Nerd, when you come on, it's always fun. So yeah, just a big thank you from everyone here. I think, you know. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Also, thank everybody who joined.
To say
I was going to say thanks for everybody joining
Corey
the live.
Gets us out of here.
The live chat too. Like we had upwards of like 20 people here watching.
My girlfriend even showed up to talk shit. It was a good time.
Good.
I haven't signed into Twitch in probably a year and a half. This is my first time back on Twitch in a year and a half, so I did it just for you guys.
Oh.
I'll give you one golf clap.
Wow.
I have something I want to say before I turn it over to our tower commander to get us out of here. I've been really open with you guys the couple years we've been doing the show, especially in the last couple months, about some of my mental health struggles I've been going through. But you know, when I think about the time I've spent in Destiny, and to a larger extent, you know, in Bungie games, period, you know, dating all the way back to Halo 1 and 2, you know, LAN parties when I was in junior high and high school. I quite literally would not be here without the friendships that I've made because of Bungie games. I had friends in high school because I played Halo. Mm-hmm. And those are lifelong friends. Those are guys that I still talk to almost every day. You know, my close friends that I've made as an adult largely have been through Destiny. And, you know, that's obviously filtered out into tons of other games and, you know, game nights and things like that. And for a singular company to do all that, and for you know, episode 100 to be hitting on Bungie Day, it brought a lot of emotions up when I was thinking about it earlier. And it's like, I just think back, and it's like, it's almost like reflecting in the final episode of The Office, you know, Jim Halpert's final lines when he looks at the camera. And he's thinking about Dunder Mifflin as he leaves for the last time. And he's talking about how dumb it was, but how special it was. And I can't help but like echo my own time in Destiny that way. I've wasted 8 years in this game. I've had some of my funniest memories of the last decade in this game. I've had some of my strangest heart-to-heart conversations with killing aliens going on in the background. You know, major life events, depressive episodes, suicidal feelings, things like that. Like all of that in this game's been in the background of all of it. This stupid, dumb, infuriating, incredible, amazing game. Words don't do it justice. I think infuriating does, but I don't know if anything else really does. It really sums it up in one word. But I don't think anybody from Bungie will ever hear this. But if by chance somebody does, like, y'all literally saved my life making this game. I don't think that I would be here without this game. I certainly wouldn't be the person I am without the friends that I've made in this game, and to a larger extent in Halo. And that is something I can never, ever express enough gratitude for or repay, is just the joy and the happiness that logging in and doing these dumbass strikes time and time again, getting teabagged in the Crucible multiple times, every homing rocket in Gambit, like, there's still a fun memory behind every one of every golden gun that goes into nerds' ass cheeks. There's always
They're all
something
still there.
funny.
I've got them.
They're still there. He's still got the burn marks. So I'll get out of here before I become an absolutely emotional wreck. But
you're getting there. You sure you don't want to keep going?
Thank you guys for joining us time and time again. Whether it's here or in game. To everybody who listens to this show, I know Corey and I have said it before. We put on the same show for 10 of you that we put on for. I mean, God, even in the last year, we've gone up like quadruple the amount of y'all who listen to this, and that is something I can never express enough thanks. Like I know y'all probably don't think that we see it, but I see when you tag us in like Dylan's comments or in other content creators' comments of who would you like to see us do collaborate with, like who are some content creators we should feature on Bungie posts or on our shows or on our streams, and I see when you guys tag the show or tag Corey and I in those, and that means the world that you think that we have something worthwhile enough to say that you would say to content creators that I do not think I belong in the same room with, let alone in the same conversation with, saying that you think that we would have something worthwhile to bring to the table and that we have a seat at that table, that you're like, oh yeah, I've seen the comments, like they're my favorite pod to listen to. We read a bunch of your emails tonight, where a lot of you said we help you through the work week, and you look forward to listening to the episodes, and that makes this worthwhile. That makes this worth doing. Knowing that you guys are enjoying what we put out, that you enjoy the show every week. Thank you for getting us to 100 episodes. God willing, we're all here in 2 years and some change for episode 200. I can't wait to see what's different. Capital ships, baby. Capital ships and Guardian apartments. Let's go.
Tanics.
Titan sex.
Titan sex.
All right. On that note, I want to thank everybody for watching episode 100 live here on twitch.tv/towercasuals. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who is watching on YouTube or listening on podcast services out there. If you listen on Spotify or iTunes, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps us out. Like Josh said, there are so many of you that listen. I don't understand why, but thank you. I mean, we love doing the show. Really appreciate everybody here as well. You can follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals. Email the show at towercasuals@gmail.com. Josh, Nerd, Johnny, thank you so much for your time tonight, as always. Nerd, I'm going to start with you. Where can people follow you if you don't want them to?
Nowhere. I'm a hermit. You can't find me. No, I'm just kidding. You can send me a friend request on Xbox so we can play Destiny together. Nerd Generalist is my gamer tag. That's it.
Great. A1 Johnny.
At A1 Johnny on Twitter. Don't forget 3 N's because I can't spell. And same on Xbox.
Josh, where can we find you?
Twitter at Josh_Finn, 2 N's as always. Yeah, lots of Destiny, lots of me coming to terms with how just awful the Dallas Mavericks are going to be this year. Yeah. So basketball and Destiny. That's what a lot of it is right now. Yep. Yep.
And you can find me at I am Corey and HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Bros podcast and Nintendo Power Block. Those are my other podcasts you can listen to. And you can find me just talking about dumb stuff on the internet. You can find Tower Casuals on your podcast service of choice every Friday morning. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. This has been episode 100 live on Bungie Day. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.